Build or Change Routes button opens a screen that enables us to create and or modify routes. What you see on the screen is routes listed on the left side here. We'll just give the route a name, basically. And there's other information associated with it, but as far as what's displayed on this particular screen, it's just a name. Then we have the stops. If you pick a particular route, it will display information about that route on the next two panels. If we pick D2, we have 3 stops here, and we have 4 people that are to be picked up and dropped off at those 3 stops. We've got this Art and Batman to be picked up at St. Agnes and dropped at Excel, Jefferson. And we got Ellie Mae and Gretchen to be picked up at Fredericks and also dropped at Excel. So that's a route. That's what it looks like. What we have on the far right side here is information regarding clients and locations. And this can best be demonstrated probably by just adding a route, and you can see how all this works. If we click the Add button on the Route panel, it will enable us to add a route. If we first give it a name, and pick a starting date for when this route is going to start. Let's just say it's going to start on Monday. Frequency, it can be a weekday route, which is means every day of the week during the week, but not on weekends. Or it can be a one-time route or a weekly route that's basically once a week, or monthly. It's basically once a month. So we'll just pick weekday. And it defaults to every day of the week. If this route is going to be skipping days, we can just turn the check the little box and it'll turn it off. This, if we have as we have it now, it will run Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, but not Tuesday. So let's just recheck it to make it standard. And also we have the flexibility to check Saturday and Sunday. If it's a route that's indeed going to run on Saturday or Sunday, and also days of the week, or I'm sorry, weeks of the month. We can skip various weeks of the month, so we have flexibility in that regard for any of the routes we define. And we also have a note field here. We can add any notes that might apply to this particular route. Now, another thing that I skipped over here accidentally, actually, is choose a location. And now this is a location where the route is going to start. For example, for the most weekday routes, it will start at the bus barn, which is the same address as Excel Jefferson. This address table isn't complete, so I know that the bus barn is the same address as Excel Jefferson, so I'll just pick that. Say it starts at Excel Jefferson. Okay, so when we've got this information entered, we click Create, and it will create a new route. Here it is, Art's route. And if we click that, you'll see, of course, there's no stops and no riders defined yet. But we can begin by defining stops. So on the right side where we have a list of locations, you'll notice that there's a plus sign by every one of them. So we can pick any of these as a stop. So let's just pick Fredericks as our first stop, click the plus sign, and we'll create a stop there. Now if we select the stop, click on that, you'll notice it opens up a little client window here, client table here. These are all of the people that have the Fredericks location associated with them. So for example, all of the people that live at this group home. All right, so now we can pick any one of these people as writers at Fredericks. So let's just pick Ellie Mae as a writer, and Ellie Mae will be added as a writer at the stop, and we'll pick Gretchen. to be added. So now we have one stop with 2 people. Okay, our next stop will be, let's say it is St. Agnes. So let's pick the plus sign on St. Agnes, and it'll add a stop for St. Agnes, and all of the people that are associated with St. Agnes, their names appear here, but you notice the plus sign doesn't really appear until we select the stop. So let's click on the stop. Now we get a plus sign. So we're telling the system that we're going to add these people to this route if we click on their plus sign. So let's just click Art and Batman. Now these 2 people are added now, being picked up at St. Agnes. So all right, the last stop will just take them to Excel Jefferson. So let's click on the plus sign to get a stop there. And when we click on the Excel Jefferson stop, it does something interesting. You notice the drop button appears by each of these. That is because each of the people that are already on the bus have Excel Jefferson associated with them as a location. So anyone who has association with the location can be dropped. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to say at Excel Jefferson, we're going to just drop them there. So let's just click the drop button by each one, and we're telling the system now that these people are going to be dropped at Excel Jefferson. All right, so I click the drop button on each one. Now you can see they're all dropped at Excel Jefferson. So we've got the stops defined, and we've got the riders defined, and the action to be taken at each stop defined. Now what we need to do is, here we got the stop number in a column, we got the duration in a column, and we got the time here. Well, there's no time there, obviously, since it's all blank. But what we need to do next is decide on the amount of time it's going to be spent at each stop. For example, at Fredericks, we're picking up 2 people, and we have to decide how long is that going to take. Is it going to take a minute, 5 minutes, what? You know, and the time will obviously vary by location depending on what has to be done there. If there's wheelchairs to be handled, or walkers, or whatever, we can decide on the amount of time. So let's just say 5 minutes there. And the same thing in St. Agnes, 5 minutes. And at Excel Jefferson, you can leave it blank since we're dropping everybody off because it's not going to take much time, or you can just put some time there. Let's just say, let's put a minute there. Take a minute to drop everybody off. We're now in a position to have the system calculate the actual time that we would be expected to be at the stop. So knowing that we're starting at 7 o'clock in the morning, it's going to use the Google Maps feature to calculate driving time, and then add to that the stop time, stop duration at each stop. So click the little clock here, and it will calculate the time at which we would be expected to arrive at each of the stops. So if we leave the bus garage at 7 o'clock, we would be at Fredericks by 7:14, spend 5 minutes there, then we be able to get to St. Agnes by 7:31, spend 5 minutes there, and be able to get from St. Agnes to Excel Jefferson by 7:37. So that's what that means. The stop number can be modified. Well, we can modify the order of the stops if we need to at some point. For example, if we stop at we add a stop at Spring Street, and we pick up Jerry H. Call there, and we add a stop at Golden Options, and we can drop Jerry Call there. But let's just say that we want to stop at Excel last after Golden Options. So we just change the number and make this a 5. We have 5 stops, so we'll make that 5, and we'll make Spring Street 3, and golden options. So we want to stop at Excel last. Golden options, we want to make that right after Spring Street. So that would be a 3. So now we have, what am I doing here? There we go. Finally got them in the right order. So we're going to stop at Fredericks and St. Agnes, then go to Spring Street and pick up Jerry Call, and then take him to Golden Options, then go to Excel Jefferson. So we've inserted a few things, changed the order, but we still got the sequential. That's required, that this stop number that you maintain manually has to be strictly sequential. So it has to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't be duplicate numbers, and it can't be skip from 2 to 4. It's got to be 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's got to be strictly sequential. All right, now, once that is done, we can adjust everything by clicking the little stop hand here. The stop hand is intended to fix up the information that's maintained regarding the sequential stops if we go changing the order of anything. So it's only required if you change the order of stuff. So if we, since we have done that, we'll click the stop hand and let it do its thing. Well, one way to tell is the times that were calculated before, they all go away. So once they're actually all blank, it's safe to go ahead and click the clock hand again to get it to recalculate time. So let's do that. And it'll calculate the times required for all the stops in the order that we have currently defined. All right. Yeah, you notice the golden options is no time because it's the same address. So we might want to put some time in there because it actually takes time to go around the building. But anyway, that's how this system works. If you click on Arts Route, it displays all of the routers. If you click on each stop, it will display only the routers associated with that particular stop. So, but that's it. That's how we define and modify routes.